Hi, I'm Diane Dressback, and I'm joined by Kimberly. And today we have the pleasure of interviewing Diana Davis. She is a chapter writer for the compilation book From Us for You, Inspiring Stories of Healing, Growth, and Transformation. So welcome, Diana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mm-hmm. Um, I met you when I first saw your film at the Jerome Film Festival when they played it outside on the big screen, and I think we had an opportunity to meet then. So why don't you give us a little bit of, and that was a while back too. That was several years ago. So why don't you give us just a brief introduction to who you are?
I'm the founder and producer of Movies Making a Difference. It's a nonprofit that makes socially conscious films highlighting the injustice of human trafficking, child marriage, child slavery, child labor, and spiritual abuse in the United States. And then all the proceeds directly aid the survivors upon whom the films shed light. That's our mission statement.
That's beautiful. And I actually got to hear your interview that you did with Robin Cote, who is also a chapter contributor to Diane's
Oh,
book.
wonderful.
Yeah, and I loved your interview. I learned a lot more about you, though I've known you forever, and you even stayed
Mhm.
at my house, but I didn't know certain things about how you got started. So can you just give us a little elevator pitch about what your chapter's about and keep it little so that people will buy and read the book?
Yes. Um, well, I had never had any interest whatsoever of either thought about being going into philanthropy or nonprofit at all. I was an actress in New York and was just out there to seek my fame and fortune. And then when I came back to Arizona, when my parents were older and failing, I'd gotten married, had kids, and met Mike Watkis, who just won a Edward R. Murrow Award for his documentary. If I just would knew someone who could make a commercial movie, maybe with an uplifting ending, that would get people not only to be aware of it, but then want to do something. And I knew that from being an actress, I knew so many people in the film industry. My husband was a writer. I was a realtor at the time, and it was just when the whole market was collapsing back in 2007, 8. So I wasn't selling a lot of houses, and I just said, "Sure, you can't find anyone to do it?" I said, "Okay, I guess I better." So read every library book on it, and I did it.
Yeah, that's truly, truly remarkable because had I not met you, well, actually, I didn't even meet you personally. I received a phone call or an email from you one day just asking if I'd be interested in being in a part in your movie, the movie Cathedral Canyon. And
Mhm.
if it had not been for that moment, to this day, I still wouldn't know anything about what your mission is and what you're doing to help these people. So I really can't wait to read the chapter myself because I'll get more information and so will everyone else. And I think the fact that you do that to focus on the internal of where we all live is so amazing. And thank you for shedding light on such a subject as that. It's very, yeah, it makes you want to go have a drink.
Uh-huh. And we make the endings uplifting and inspiring because when I met these young people, there was no way I could just turn my back on them and say, "Okay, our film raised some awareness, and best of luck to you." I'd fallen in love with them, and so yeah. So now they're or part of our Movies Making a Difference. It's MMAD, our Mad Family. So we have a Madhouse Mad Family, and they're amazing people. And
Hmm.
when you meet them, people just want to continue to make a difference.
Right. So they can contribute to your organization, which helps you help the survivors. And not only did you do Cathedral Canyon, but you also recently did Cartel, which again, I
And
had
so
the
did
honor.
you.
Yes, I had the great honor and privilege of being in that movie. And thank you again for that opportunity. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what is called Cartel? Is it a continuation of Cathedral Canyon, do you dig deeper into the
It is
mess?
the first movie is really about why it's been like when people ask the question, how has this been able to go on for so long? And it really addresses the corruption in our, cities such as Phoenix, using child labor and turning a blind eye. So then once we started aiding and getting to know and having them be part of our MAD family, the second one is really from their voices. And what if they wanted the outside world to know, what would it be? And they're not documentaries, it's feature films. So they were able to be characters and it wouldn't be personal. And they they grew up never being able to watch a movie, let alone be in a movie and have it filmed inside a Colorado City where up until just recently, and even at that point, not many people were welcome there. It was actually pretty dangerous. And we were able to go in and experience from their side and really learn. It was an amazing experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because Diane Dressback doesn't know that I had the opportunity to actually get inside the city and film and meet some of these amazing people that they're so sheltered. They have no internet, they have no books, they really don't know what's going on outside of their little space, and they think that it's all normal. And so, as an outsider getting inside, it was just fascinating. And I almost envy you, because there's such a joy to be around, and you get to
Mhm.
actually be a part of their life. So, with all of the journey that you've been through, from Cult Cartel to Cathedral Canyon and back to New York, where do you see your life taking you 5 years from now? Do you think the mission will be any more exposed, or what do you see for you and for MAD movies making a difference?
Well, we're growing. We're growing so quickly. I mean, right now I'm in Florida. I'm in our safe house. We have a safe house now here, and just the support, because there's actually has not been any of the FLDS fundamentalist Latter Day Saints here in Florida. So I've been much more free to be able to speak about it. But we've really, tackled this, and we're going to be premiering the film in April, hopefully here, and then back in Phoenix. COVID will just open things up, but are going into pre-production in our third movie, Carmelita, which addresses the atrocities going on over the border of Mexico, with Juarez having the highest murder rate in the world. And about 80% of those murders are women under the age of 30, from human trafficking and drug trade. And so it's again, it's a murder mystery. And so hopefully people will, want to understand and get involved. And the bad guys always get it in the end in our movies, which inspire people to not want to go have a drink and instead be on the crusade. So yeah, I just see us tackling more and more and more issues. The Native American problem up on our northern border in the Dakotas is the human trafficking trade up there is unbelievable, and them too just being an ignored population. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be there for all the people that don't have a voice.
So, what I'm hearing is, there 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you're going to be crusading. And thank you for that, because it takes a special person to take the flashlight and shine it on the dark. And that's what you're doing.
Well, you know so well from being there that it is meeting them. It's inspiring, it's invigorating, it's uplifting, and they can inspire us as well. So often, people will say, "Oh my goodness, you're such an angel." And this is, I go, actually, I'm the lucky one. And so I was with a friend and at a luncheon, and woman was then again saying, like, "I can't believe what you do. You're amazing." And I said, "I'm really not amazing. I'm the one that has it good. I get to meet, as you did, all these amazing young people who are all in my life. I get to, go to Florida and travel and make movies." Said I could be working at some back room of a bank. I might make a little more money. And my friend tugs at my arm, and I said, "What?" She pulls me away and she goes, "That woman works in the back room of a bank."
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully she'll maybe question and say, "Is this what I want to do with the rest of my life?" And it was
So
perhaps a message that she meant to hear that day.
yeah, and before I turn this back over to Diane, I just want to let everybody know that when you did come out here to visit me, it was supposed to be a break, but you were constantly on the phone helping the youth, which was so inspiring to me because you don't put them aside because you have something else you're enjoying in life. It's just it's a 24/7 process. And I don't know where that young man who you helped when you were here would be without you in that moment. So that inspired me. Thank you.
Remember, my phone had lost a charge and I had to get him. He was actually in jail and I was working with the prosecutor to try to get him out. But the amazing news is that he is now out. He is doing exceptionally well. He's a year, 18 months clean, and he's joined our board.
Oh, awesome. I
I
love
know. So
that.
yeah, can you imagine if I hadn't have been there that day? Who knows? You're right. Who knows? He'd probably still be in jail. But
Yes.
instead, by doing that little thing, by being there on the end of the phone, instead of saying it's my vacation, now I have the most amazing young man as a member of our board.
That
That
was,
is beautiful.
yeah, what a great story. What's good. It's good for you.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that, Kimber.
I didn't.
Yeah. So, so one of the questions that we're asking all of the writers has to do with failure. And can you think back of a time in your life where, and it can be anything. It doesn't have to be, it could be something years ago, something that you considered at first to be a failure, but then you learned something from that, that you took something away from that failure that's made a difference in, the way that you operate now.
Um, I think now just my whole attitude towards failure is completely changed because it is just so obvious to me now that every time some adversity or something doesn't go the way that I want it to go, it's because that wasn't the road I was supposed to be going down at that moment. And since I didn't have the proper judgment, that the universe had to switch it for me. And I mean, I could say that I wanted to, more than anything, be an actress. I'd gone to school, I'd gone to college for it. I went and studied in Paris at a company there, was in New York pounding the pavement for, 15 years. And I did, little bit parts here and there on a soap opera and modeling work. And if anyone had said I did 15 years to not become an actress, to instead work for a nonprofit, I think that's like just the biggest failure. But now I am so grateful that I didn't, become just a successful working actress and still have to live in Manhattan, that at the time I thought was fabulous, which I'd hate now. So yes, I just think you can never think of failure. As long as you're doing everything you can to further yourself, then you just, put it in someone else's hands and say, we know best.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know in your chapter you mentioned using vision boards. So and you used to do the vision boards when you were a child. So do you still use them? Do you still use vision boards? Or if you don't, what benefit do you think that there is for using those?
Well, when I was younger, I think I'd mentioned that, my mother and my parents were both way ahead of their time. They both went to Columbia University, and you'd meet them and they just, seemed like very conservative. My dad in his Navy, his blazer and his always in a tie. Yet they're talking about vision boards and reincarnation and, healing, homeopathic remedies. So growing up, having that very sort of wide scope of the possibilities made it something that I didn't, I did, it wasn't a far reach for me. So as I got older, I think the vision boards are important when you are looking at the magazines. It makes you focus. You cut, the things that seem to call to you, and you put them down, and you have them on your wall. But I think if all of a sudden you get to the point where this becomes like riding a bicycle, that you no longer have to take the time to do all that. You can just be in your daily life, look and say, that inspires me, that color inspires me, oh, that's what I want to do, and then be led by what captures your eye. And now I just feel as though I don't have to make those decisions. Just the synchronicity of my life is it's just too amazing. There's a reason for everything, and I don't have to. So no, I don't do the vision boards anymore. I think my whole life is a vision board.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting that. Yep. I agree with them. So I have a final question for you, and that is, while you were writing the chapter for the book, did you learn anything about yourself?
Yes, that I love talking about what I do, about these amazing young people. I can get up in front of the largest crowd and talk about my passion and the cause. Try to talk about myself, I hate it. It's just awful. So I kept putting it off. And in fact, I didn't write it until the day before. And I couldn't even go back and reread it because I was going to have to rip it up. So all I did is like, okay, I knew you had an editor, send it in, let them deal with it. Yeah, I find it really uncomfortable to talk about me.
You poor thing.
You have done some amazing work with the people, with all of the just the opportunity that you've giving all of these people, the men and the women, and trying to get them out of the situations that they're in. And I'm really excited to share your story with everybody, because I think that it makes such a difference when we don't know where we're supposed to end up. And then all of a sudden we end up there, and we're so grateful, where we might be saying, no,
Yeah.
no, we don't want it. And then you end up there and it's like, oh, I can't imagine doing anything else. So, so I'm very excited to share your chapter with everybody, and everybody else's chapter, Kimber's and everyone else.
Well,
But yeah, so.
thank you so much for putting this together and reaching out to such amazing people, because I love that none of us knew who was involved in this. And then like, oh my gosh, this amazing friend and this one. So what a fabulous group of, is it all women?
It is all women, 25 women. Yes. Yes. So I
Oh,
know it's
incredible.
yeah, it's been really, really wonderful for me to, reconnect with a lot of people, and the project is way bigger than I ever imagined it was going to be. So I'm excited about that.
Mm.
Thank you, Diana, for joining Kimber and I today and talking about your chapter and a little bit about your life. So we appreciate you very much. And thank you for watching the interview, and share if you'd like. If you'd like more information about the book, then you can go to FromUsForYou.com and get all the details there. So thank you, ladies, and make it a very hopeful day.